I want to ask you a question. If I say, what is the opposite of certainty? Will you tell me that is uncertainty? I guess you can. But what I really want to point to you or steer your focus is something in a slightly different direction that gives a different answer to the question, what is the opposite of certainty? And for me, the opposite of certainty is progress. And the reason why I gave you these two versions is because they're very related in my mind. What do I mean by that? It's fascinating for me to observe how many people desire progress in their life, seeking it actively, taking actions towards progress. They want everything to be certain. They want to feel certainty. They want to know that whatever they will do will have success and it will happen, and whatever they think it's right. And I don't think that progress works like that. And I think that the issue why they don't want to call progress as opposite of certainty, where the biggest problem for them comes, is exactly from that other way of naming the opposite of certainty, when you name it uncertainty. What do I mean? Just try to see the two things that I'm saying simultaneously, not one after another. In one side we have certainty versus uncertainty, and they're related as opposites. And on the other side we have certainty and progress, which I again claim that they're the same thing, like the two opposites in a way. But when you choose to see it in a way that certainty is opposite of progress, you immediately allow yourself to have the desires to be certain, but to open the doors for yourself for some opportunities. Things that they will challenge you, but you're ready to accept them. They will be unknown for you, but you're ready to learn them. The things that you feel very insecure, but you're willing to toughen up. When you look at it in that way, it's very obvious and clear how you can progress and why progress is opposite of certainty. But it becomes a path that you can take on. It becomes a path that it's not that difficult anymore, because you do have certain understanding and perception of how you can use certainty, want certainty, etc., but not limit yourself by naming the opposite of certainty uncertainty. When you lock all the doors, you don't look at opportunities, you don't want to face challenges because they're very uncertain, you don't want to try new things, you don't want to disagree with people because you want to be right all the time. Because if you're not right, it becomes very uncertain for you. And that will always limit you. And it's quite impossible to get to any progress. But then there's so many people that they want progress, but they don't give up certainty at the same time. And I understand them exactly because of what I just tried to explain. Because when you see the opposite of certainty to be uncertainty, then no wonder why you don't take any move. It feels almost that it's certain that you will fail. It's certain that you will lose. And nobody wants that. So no wonder why those people, they're not progressing. But that doesn't stop them to want progress though. And where does this whole thing leads to? I'll tell you what it leads to. It leads to those constantly nagging people that they're pissing off almost everybody around, or constantly complaining and constantly judging people that you don't want to be around with, to be honest. It's not a necessity to call the opposite of certainty uncertainty. It's much easier if you just call it progress, because once you see that progress, it gives you the permission to believe in yourself. It gives you the permission to know that even if it gets fucked up, it's not that scary. You will not die. If we go really deep into this, you will notice that the major differences between thriving and surviving people are related to exactly those things. The perception of certainty and uncertainty. Thriving people perceive uncertainty as progress, and surviving people, they perceive the opposite of certainty as an uncertainty, meaning like everything becomes a problem. And that's why they're nagging so much, that's why they're complaining so much. But because they do want progress and the success, that's why they keep judging all the time, because there is a friction within them where they want it but they can't get it because they limit themselves by this perception of having uncertainty that is opposite to the so needed by them certainty. I've also noticed that those surviving people, when they see someone who has the perception of progress instead of uncertainty, they tend to think only those progressing people can have this perception and they can really do these things. It's not for them. Even if they want to change the perception, even if they want to see it in that way, they're just not like this. They're different people, which is not true at all. If you're one of these people, I promise you, it's such a small shift. It's a very, very small step. It's not something that requires too much from you. In the end of the day, we're not talking about something physical, something related to resources, something, you know what I mean? Like that you can definitely say, I can't do that. Like if somebody tells you in order to be successful, it's required to have £1 million in the bank and you don't have them, well, definitely you can say, I can't do that. Or if somebody tells you it's required for you to lift 500 kilograms from the ground and you can't do that. And I understand this. But why would you say that you cannot simply change your perception? It's a simple thing. Just tell yourself the next 30 times. Repeat it in your mind. Okay, that's not uncertainty, this is progress. And see what happens. I promise you that at least you'll have a little crack on that door. Sooner or later, once you have a crack, I'm telling you it will open. And I don't see why not to go through that door, you know. You do want the success anyway. And if you have agreed with me so far that this might have been the reason to keep you on the ground and keep you limited and keep you like still sitting in the same place, then by all means, please take it from me and act and crack the fucking door and just change your perception. I promise you that it's easy. If you do it, and if it does open for you, I want you to promise you only one thing. Come back and share your story. I would love to hear it. And not just for me, but so that we can repeat your story to others like yourself and they can crack their doors. Sometimes I think that I'm not enough. Like people need more and more and more. And I would love to have an army of people that they've cracked the door and they jumped from uncertainty towards progress. Until then, be passionate, my friend, and keep cracking the doors. See you next time.